right, welcome back to another episode of My Corner of the Universe. Today, we had the pleasure of interviewing Deja Green from United Souls. She has an awesome nonprofit that she just recently started where they take lightly used shoes and repurpose them to other either children or adults that need shoes. And her story at the beginning of the episode is one you don't want to miss because it really shows you how a pair of shoes can make a world of difference.
Yeah, she's such an inspiration when you hear her story and how she, took a concept and just ran with it. Really, in a dream to her of like, this is what I want to do, and just really running with it. And I hope that everybody who listens to this episode gets their mind starting to work, which I was doing, and me and Rex are both doing. We're like, oh, like I could help out in this way. You could help out in this. You could do this. You can do this, because it's one of these such relatable organizations that's like everyone has shoes. Everyone has shoes that they kind of stopped wearing. And what do you do with them? You just throw them away, or you give them to Salvation Army or St. Vincent de Paul,
or they're just in your closet.
Or they're just in your closet forever. Yeah. So there's such an opportunity and there's such a need. I love how she talked about the problems with shoes in landfills and how long it takes for shoes to break down and the glue and all that stuff as part of a problem. So you're helping out the environment by not sticking more things in landfills, and then you're also really helping people out who need those shoes.
Yeah, and like you said, everyone has that pair of shoes that you got and it didn't fit right, or you weren't comfortable, whatever it was, whether it's your kids' shoes, you got them. So I encourage you to go check out their website and really, start shipping some shoes off to some other people that really could use them.
Yeah, and I love how her focus right now is a lot of kids' shoes, because, Rex and I both have kids, and like kids grow fast, their feet grow fast, they grow out of shoes. Now, there's some shoes that the kids thrash. Like my kids will just thrash shoes. So you aren't going to send those ones, but we all know there's some shoes that you bought that you're like, oh, these are nice shoes or whatever. And then they ended up not wearing them. Maybe the season changed in the summertime and they didn't wear those shoes and they grew out of them. So, you can either hand them down to a friend, but if you have handed that person down a decent amount and you really want to impact people on a greater scale, it's an amazing opportunity to be able to help them out.
Yeah, and it'll be a fun nonprofit to kind of watch their journey, just because they're, just at the starting point right now. And I definitely see some big things on the horizon for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you guys enjoy the episode. Make sure that you're liking, you're sharing these episodes. Really, why we say that is not really for me and Rex. It's, you share the episode, you're getting, people like Deja's story out to more people. And you're, just exposing them and their nonprofit and their organization. So, be sharing these episodes, so it shows up better in the iTunes or Stitcher, Sphere, wherever you're listening to these at. And, if you listen to this and you're in the nonprofit world and you want to be a guest, reach out to us. We're always looking for people to highlight and showcase their stories too.
Yep. All right. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to another episode of My Corner of the Universe. Today we have a fantastic guest. Deja Green is joining us from United Souls. Really awesome organization, especially for any sneakerheads out there, any people who are into shoes, or also just into helping people out. I think you're going to listen to this episode and you're going to be like, man, I can really help them out with things that are going on in my life right now. So Deja, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So I want to jump in real quick before we talk about United Souls of what it is. I want you to tell me your story growing up, and the letter you sent to Michael Jordan, and how this kind of started the journey of, sneaker passion for you, and then we can talk about how it grew into your actual nonprofit you started.
Okay, so I grew up in Canton, Ohio, a really small city. My mother had 7 children. Well, it was 4 of us, but now there's 7. But at the time, it was 4. And so I have a twin sister, and we both were really into sports. We played basketball growing up. We ran track. We tried softball and soccer. It didn't really turn out well, but we ended up sticking to track. And I had a love-hate relationship with track, but my high school track coaches, they got me more engaged, and they showed me like what I really could do. And I actually didn't even have like a pair of shoes to run in. I was running in my little brother's tennis shoes, and it's a huge difference from like a pair of track shoes and a pair of tennis shoes.
For sure.
So she's like, Deja, like you're running really fast and really well. Like you could really go to college and do this. And I'm just young. I'm not really like registering like what she's telling me, because like from that city, it's hard to think about the next step or think about the future, because you're so like you're like in a box. You don't even think about the future or like having big dreams, because you've never really seen it happen before. So it's just going in one ear and out the other. And so I'll try to speed it up. So long story short, she bought me a pair of track shoes, and these track shoes ended up giving me like so much confidence in myself. And it just showed me like I could really run fast. I couldn't even do things that I didn't even think I could even imagine doing. I was breaking records. I think one of the records I broke was a 54-year-old record.
Wow.
And after that, I was like, oh yeah, I can really do anything I put my mind to. So then I ended up going to college. I went to the University of Akron, and I ran track there. I really don't like bragging a lot.
No,
it's good. It's setting the story. But I do want to know, were you beating kids on the track field with your sneakers on, like your LeBrons on, or not?
I was.
So that's impressive, because you're right. It's such a difference between having track shoes. I mean, basketball shoes are clunky, especially for running.
They're so heavy. They're so heavy. I think it actually made me want to run faster, because it's like, okay, they have an advantage. They have the fast shoes. I have these heavy shoes, so let me just not let them catch up to me.
Yeah. And I love how you tied it into like the confidence that you got when you got those other shoes. And I think that probably, I'm guessing, played into, you know, how you continue to develop, you know, United Soul and your passion for sneakers. But you can brag a little bit, you know, you had some accomplishments, you know, let people know you were a baller in college. So, you know, it's just all part of the story.
Okay, so my high school track coaches, they really set the tone for me and helped me pave the way for my journey. Just by buying me those pair of shoes, I got like a full ride scholarship to the University of Akron. I was able to break a 18-year-old school record my 5th year, running 22:99 in a 200-meter dash. And it was a Olympic trials qualifying time, so I could have ran in the Olympic trials, but at that point I was just really burnt out, and I didn't really want to go. And after I saw like, wow, like my whole 5 years was done. I didn't spend so much time like growing and learning. I want to do something different. I want to help other people do the same thing. And United Souls, it kind of came. It's always been there in the back of my mind, but one day I was just sleeping. And it just told me, like, start a nonprofit, help give back shoes to those in need, to create opportunities for them to succeed. And so that's where the idea was birthed. And I spent no time. I did research on nonprofits. I saw what other nonprofits were doing, and I saw, like, what ways, like, how can I be an asset to these children or to these homeless people or people who are not in need. I mean, to those who are in need, and just to bridge the gap between those who are in need and those who have it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
and that, I mean, just to kind of go back to your story real fast, that coach that gave you those pair of shoes kind of changed your whole world.
yes. Yeah.
And
I
mean,
talk to her, and I tell her that all the time. I'm like, do you remember when? And she's like, yes, Deja. I gave them a hard time. I honestly did.
It's like, of course I remember you. You were running in basketball shoes. So I'm curious to know, like you said, okay, the idea came to you, and then you said you just like jumped into it, but you didn't have any experience in nonprofit sector or business. So like, how was that hurdle for you learning that stuff and filing, getting your 501c3, all of that stuff? Where did you learn that stuff?
YouTube University.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So
That's good.
when I set my mind on something, it's like I can't stop until it happens. And so I did some research. I went on YouTube. I looked up the step-by-step process. I joined Facebook groups on it's called Nonprofit for Newbies, and they walk you through the step-by-step
great
process.
tip.
I reached out to a mentor from my hometown, and I kind of was like picking his brain about the whole entire process. The main thing I was stuck on was the name. I know I wanted it to be United and like soul or shoe or anything or sneakers, anything like that. And I came up with United Souls. So I really love the name because it really resonates like with the whole mission.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just had to go on YouTube and like do research on it. It took a long time to get the 501c3 status, and as I mentioned, I live in Texas, so I had to use one of the board members' address to send it to. But she ended up sending me a picture of it, and I was jumping for joy.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I was so happy. And it was a huge relief off of my shoulders. I was like, okay, I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to do this. Let's do this. And then it took maybe about 2 to 3 months for everything to fully come together.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's just such a good idea. Actually, no, let's explain. Okay, so I feel like we were already talking about United Souls, but I realized we haven't really explained it to the listeners as much. So explain a little bit more about United Souls, what it is.
Okay, so United Souls, it's a nonprofit. It's a 501c3, and our main goal is to collect and donate gently used shoes for those in need and create opportunities for those to succeed. And we pretty much, our main market is children, but also adults. But we mainly want to focus on children because at that age, we want them to know that they can succeed, and we want them to know that they can have the confidence to follow their dreams. So the young athletes, those are our main targets, but there are also people who are houseless, who don't have shoes, and they're equal. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
we try to keep them balanced.
And so describe a little bit about that process. So let's say I have a pair of gently used shoes. We would just mail them to you, and then you guys go through. Tell us a little bit how that process works.
Okay, so what we do is we have you mail them to us, or we will meet you and pick them up. But due to COVID, we kind of had to take a step back as far as collecting gently used shoes, but we try to collect them and clean them as soon as we get them. We take them to the laundromat, or we'll hand clean them, and we'll set them aside and track the inventory, and then we'll be able to distribute to those who wear those sizes.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. Hand cleaning them. I have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they just ran around in the dirt a couple of days ago, and I hand cleaned their shoes. And I was like, and this is a process. You got to dry them out. I was like, man, this would be tough if you're getting a lot of shoes in there.
Yeah, it's really tough, but the amazing thing is, like, you really can spread it out. Like, maybe you'll get 2 or 3 here and there, and or you'll get like 5 to 10. So I just clean them as I go instead of letting them pile up.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets too overwhelming all of a sudden. Yeah, because it's. I mean, me and Rex were talking about that before we started recording, and it was like, man, like, especially with kids, like, we'll buy shoes for one of our kids, and then like he'll use them a couple times, or maybe like he complains that they aren't as comfortable, or he didn't like them as much, the style, whatever, and then we usually just like save them, and either we give them to somebody else, or like we take them to like St. Vincent de Paul or Salvation Army or something like that. But then I don't even know how long they sit there for, if nobody buys them, what do they do with them? Or a lot of people just toss them, unfortunately. So opportunity.
And that's one thing.
Go for it.
That's one of the main things we want to do is keep shoes out of landfills, because on average it takes about 45 years for them to break down.
Oh
And
yeah,
so,
talk about that. I don't think as many people realize, how about the shoe situation in the landfills.
Yeah,
yeah, okay,
there's
so
got to be a lot of shit.
Yeah.
yeah, so Americans, they throw away about 300 million pairs per year, and
Wow.
these shoes they end up in landfills, and it takes years and years and years for them to break down because of the material makeup that the shoes have, um, and so it puts a damper on the environment. So we also want to like our nonprofit to be sustainable. We want to keep shoes out of the landfill so we can preserve the environment, and that's pretty much what we aim to do as far
Awesome.
as sustainability and just go green. I
Yeah.
love my last name, Green. Like, let's
Yeah,
go
yeah.
green.
Yeah. It's so cool because it is twofold. You're helping people out in need and then also helping the environment. It's such a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any kind of like corporate sponsors, or is that have you guys moved into that realm at all?
We do not have any corporate sponsors at the moment. We don't have any. We just started up about 6 months ago,
Okay, cool.
and we have a few events within the first quarter of this year that we aim to get sponsors for, but we haven't like went into that aspect of it yet.
Yeah, I just see so much potential. Vade and I were talking before you jumped on, and I could see you even writing to some of these shoe manufacturers and just saying, "Hey, will you include a small tag that says when you're finished with these shoes, will you donate them to United Soul?" And that way it's no money out of the corporation's pocket, and then they're also helping you expand, not only the brand awareness about your nonprofit, but also, like you said, keeping shoes out of landfills and getting shoes to feet that need shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
still have Michael Jordan's number from when you were younger at all?
No, I wish I did. Yeah. So when I was in sixth grade, I realized that I was playing basketball with boys. It was co-ed. I didn't really have the nicest pair of shoes, but I had a pretty decent pair. But I also saw that people didn't have nice shoes to even play in. They were playing in it's just I saw it at a young age.
Yeah,
and
right.
I just decided, I was like, Michael Jordan, like I'm on this basketball team. These athletes, they need shoes. So how can you help us? I was in sixth grade, so I was learning how to communicate and such like that. So I was just like, I'll reach out to him, and I'll see. I had no idea he would write me back. And he sent me this card, and it was just like, follow your dreams, like the step-by-step process, like
cool.
No distractions, and it really gave me confidence and motivated me. And then he sent me like other stickers and then his autograph. And he's like,
awesome.
we can't really give you shoes, but if you let us know like any other like future things you will need, let us know. So
that's cool.
It's time to circle back with Michael.
Time to hit him back down. I don't know if you remember me when I emailed you, or many years ago. Or it wasn't even email then. I'm sure it was mail. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have the letter.
I bet. Yeah, I wouldn't get rid of that. Yeah. So, okay, I have a question about when you get the shoes and then you clean them up and you redistribute them back out. Right now, is it mainly domestically, or have you thought about going international? Do you already go international to give shoes to people in like, more impoverished countries and areas?
Yeah. So, our main mission right now is to focus on the United States, but eventually I want to be able to travel to those places internationally and distribute shoes. I haven't met her yet, but really, really kind lady reached out to me, and she lives in Dubai. And she wants to connect with me whenever I want to distribute internationally. So that will happen sometime later this month. But as far as domestic and internationally will be a little bit later down the line. But it is in our it's a goal of ours.
Yeah. Well, when you're ready, let us know too, because we've done some great interviews. The last one we just did with the Open Arms International, and they have like a big area in Kenya where, like, do you remember how many kids they have? There was a bunch of, they have like a 57 acres. They they house kids, and I'm sure there's needs for shoes, you know? So
that's where I want to go to Kenya or Tanzania.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are the first two places I want to go.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we'll connect you with her. It may not be something that you guys work on right now, but at least can plant the seed. Yeah. They're doing really cool things in Kenya, and it's a pretty amazing country. It seems like we've had two interviews awesome. There. Yeah.
Yeah, I just see so much potential for your guys' nonprofit, just because there seems to be such an abundance of shoes out there that people have or continue to buy. So it's like a resource that is going to continue to grow, and the more that you guys get your name out there and people learn about you, I could see like showing up at local race events and different places and just having drop boxes or whatever it is. I really see huge potential for you guys to really expand into quite a big nonprofit.
I truly appreciate that. I've been working so hard. I do a lot of work on my own. I have 3 other board members, but they all have their own lives. Mm-hmm. Right. But it's pretty much me right now. I have a twin sister, and we have our own art business called Double Customs, where we work together. But the nonprofit, I kind of wanted to branch out and do something by myself. So
right,
yeah, very cool.
She knows she's still included, but it's kind of something that I wanted to do on my own.
Yeah,
and as far as I just want to go back to the businesses and sponsors. So one of my goals is to reach out to vans and see if they can donate all white vans, like the canvas vans, mm-hmm. because I customize shoes as well, and I want to host an event with kids and have them design their own shoes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that is great.
That's why you want them all white, so then you can have plenty of canvas to customize them. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I feel like go ahead, Russ.
I was going to say that really just gets people involved too. So, people love to be able to not only be a part of something, but then if they'll be like, oh, those are my shoes.
Yeah.
They like, you can create your own. Like, I just want them to know that. So,
hey, it'd be cool is to partner with Vans and have an event where kids come and like do that. And then maybe Vans would take that, is that what you're talking about? Take that style and actually produce that commercially. With your brand,
I didn't even think of that.
With your brand name on it, so then it's like the United Souls brand, and then there's a story behind it, and then it teaches them more about everything. Yeah. That would be cool.
I didn't even think of that.
I really think that you'll get some corporate sponsors. I'm
gonna write that down.
Do it, yeah. I want to see it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree, and I think there's corporate sponsors. There's so much. I think so much opportunity. Like you said, you're the only one there right now. So like, if a whole bunch of shoes come in, like you're gonna need at some point. I'm guessing, right? You're gonna need more hands to help get the shoes ready.
I could almost see that being a community event too, like a shoe washing event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where you get everyone together and be like, all right, we're gonna wash a ton of shoes today.
Yeah.
They'll have a lot of fun. It's actually not as bad as people may think.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I was just thinking that the time wise when I said it earlier, but yeah, it really isn't that bad cleaning some shoes off.
Well, especially I would think on the kids' shoes, like you said, Vaden, like a lot of kids' shoes. I mean, they grow so fast. I mean, they only get worn for so long. I mean, so I could see kids' shoes being, pretty easy in that aspect too. They're also smaller.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
so yeah, I guess transitioning on that too. So right now, if you guys, because of COVID, I understand it's hard to take shoes in. So is the best way that people can help right now is to be able to donate, right? And on your website, you have a link there, to way to donate. It is a 501c3, so it is tax deductible. Is that the best way for people to help out? Any other cool ways people can help out?
So far, yeah, that is the only way, but I'm open to other possibilities. If anyone wants to reach out and connect with me. I worked on the website myself too, so
Yeah, it looks good.
Nice. Yeah.
did you
Nice.
did you guys like it?
Yeah, it looks good. I like it.
Thank
Yeah, it's
you.
clean.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time on it.
Oh, nice. Did you have any experience, or is this YouTube University also learning how to build a website?
I just have an eye for art, and I think that kind of ties into the way I designed it.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Love it. Nice.
So I want to say this though, for anyone who's listening that wants to help out, a great way too is if you have any connections with either corporations or even like any sort of sneaker company that you could, pass United Souls brand over to them so they can learn more about it. Because it's kind of like what Rex alluded to. There's so many ways that sneaker companies or any probably kind of athletic companies can help out without a huge ask from them, and sometimes it takes that one connection, versus a cold call from Deja to call them if you already kind of have an in, just be like, hey, I heard this podcast and you guys, we should check this, this nonprofit out to be able to help support. I think would be a great way for people to help out.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I truly appreciate this this interview. This is the first one I've done. So
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure you get many more to come.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of nervous at the same time, but
So if someone goes on the website, is there a spot you'd click to see if you wanted to send the shoes? If where people would get that information, if they, let's say someone's listening and they're like, oh, I've got a ton of shoes I could send in. So how does that work?
So I'm in the process of moving right now. I'll be moving next week, but I will update the address that they can send it to in about another week or so.
Okay,
I
so
took
there's a
the
spot
address
on there.
off.
Oh, you took it off.
No, there's no spot right now
Okay,
at the moment.
got it.
Gotcha.
Well, once you update that, email us back because we'll include it in the show notes. I can always update the show notes with that info. So then that way people, if they're looking through, they'll be able to see where it's at as well.
Yeah. And I also just popped in my head too, I don't know if it's something that you would be open to, but there's different like church events or community events you could do, kind of like what you were talking about, like a shoe collection. So like, would it be easier with COVID times where like, let's say a church is like, hey, we're going to do a shoe collection and they get 100 pairs of shoes, but they also are like, we're going to get the shoes and we're going to clean them and then we're going to send you clean shoes to you. Does that make it any easier to accept them right now, do you think?
Yes, it makes it so much easier. Like, so much easier.
So that would be a cool option, something
Yeah.
for sure. Either you could like, contact them about, just sending the shoes, but for sure, if you have the ability or just some volunteers to help out and clean them and then send the clean shoes to her, it's just going to help out her process of getting those to people in need.
Yeah, I could see that being a great way with every congregation just because it's easy to pull people that way.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, let's all get our shoes together.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you got a truckload of shoes showing up.
Yeah.
You guys are dropping so many gems. Like I'm taking all of this in.
Well, let's hope it transitions to reality because I do see so much opportunity with it.
Definitely. So you're on Instagram, Facebook. Where can people connect with you if they want to learn more about what's going on?
So we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the moment. UnitedSouls.us on Instagram. I believe it's just United Souls on Facebook, and then UnitedSouls.us on Twitter.
And then the website unitedsouls.co.
Yes.
Okay. And that's souls also SOLES, like soles of your shoe. But it is a pun, I'm sure, and play on the SOU. So, but it is spelled souls, SOLES.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we love what you're doing. I think it's an awesome idea, and I really do see a bright future for you because I know that, like I said earlier, there's an endless supply of shoes, and I'm sure there's an endless supply of feet that need those shoes. So really, love what you're doing, and, maybe a year from now we'll circle back to you and see where things are at as well.
Oh, that would be awesome. It's gonna take off. This is the very first step. So I truly appreciate you guys for inviting me on your podcast and believing in my vision, seeing my vision, and wanting to know more and get my message out there. So I'm truly thankful, and I appreciate you guys more than you know.
Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate you too.